Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling something that's pretty relevant to all of us homeowners, home insurance.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not just going to skim the surface here. We're going to go deeper and really explore what sets one particular agency apart. Home Insurance Agency, founded by the Bentson brothers.
Interesting.
And our guide for this deep dive, we're going to be using excerpts from Home Insurance Agency, the Bentson brothers' vision. So get ready, because we're about to find out how their vision for home insurance goes way beyond just selling policies, aiming to build real trust and security for homeowners.
Yeah, you know what makes this deep dive so fascinating? It's that central question, right? What actually makes Home Insurance Agency different? And to answer that, we have to go beyond just the policies themselves and really delve into the people behind the agency.
Absolutely, and that's where the Bentson brothers come in, right? Daniel and James Bentson. They're leading the charge at Home Insurance Agency, and their combined experience in the industry is really impressive. But what I found really interesting was how their personal values are kind of woven into the fabric of the company.
And that's where we see, the first sign of something different, right? This isn't just a faceless corporation. It's a family-owned and operated business. And that immediately sets a different tone, suggests a more personalized approach, something a little more customer-centric.
But is that just a marketing tactic?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of companies say that they're customer-focused. How does that play out in the real world, especially in an industry like insurance, which, let's face it, can often feel impersonal and kind of daunting?
Yeah, that's the key question, right? And to get to the bottom of that, we need to look at their mission statement, which is, because home matters. Seems simple on the surface, but I think there's something deeper there.
Okay, I admit, when I first read that mission statement, I was like, well, duh, of course home matters. That's why I'm looking for insurance in the first place. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. For most people, their home is more than just bricks and mortar. It's their sanctuary, their biggest investment, the place filled with memories and all their stuff. So I think because home matters acknowledges that, like emotional connection, they understand what's really at stake.
I get it. It's not just about protecting a structure. It's about protecting everything that makes a house a home, that peace of mind, that security.
Exactly. And that leads us to another point, this idea of personalized service. Remember, they started in Staten Island back in 2010, expanded to New Jersey in 2020, then South Carolina just a year later. Impressive growth, but they've managed to do it without sacrificing that local expertise.
It's interesting how they're trying to strike that balance between national reach and that personal touch that you might only get from a local agency. Have you ever felt like just a number to a big insurance company?
Oh, I think we've all been there.
Because I definitely have, and it's not a good feeling.
No, it's that feeling of being lost in a sea of paperwork and policies,
Yeah.
right? No real connection to the people handling your most valuable asset.
And that's where the Bensons are taking a different approach. They're really emphasizing those personal connections, building that trust, ensuring that you're not just buying a policy, you're partnering with someone who gets it, who understands you.
And to kind of solidify that partnership, they have these three core values: respect, response, and retention. And these aren't just buzzwords. They're principles that guide how they do business.
Okay, let's break those down a little bit. Respect seems pretty straightforward. It's about treating every client well, with respect. But what does that actually look like in practice?
It's about more than just, being polite, right? It's about valuing the client as a partner, truly listening to their needs, understanding their concerns, and tailoring solutions to their specific situation. In the insurance world, that means personalized service, clear communication, and a genuine willingness to go the extra mile.
So it's not about pushing a one-size-fits-all policy. It's about taking the time to understand individual circumstances.
Exactly.
Okay, what about response? What do you think that means?
What does it imply to you?
I'm guessing it means being prompt and efficient. No waiting on hold forever or getting lost in a bureaucratic maze when you need to make a change to your policy or file a claim.
Right on the money. It's about being responsive to client needs, whether it's answering a question, processing a request, or handling a claim. Quick turnaround times, clear communication, every step of the way.
That's huge, especially when you're dealing with something as important as insurance. You want to know that if something happens, you're going to be taken care of quickly and efficiently. Now, what about retention? I'm curious how that fits into the big picture.
Retention is all about building those long-term relationships with clients, going beyond just meeting expectations to actually exceeding them, creating that level of trust and satisfaction that makes clients want to stick around.
So it's not just about getting your customers, it's about nurturing those relationships.
Precisely.
Making sure clients feel valued and appreciated, which makes sense, especially in an industry as competitive as insurance.
Absolutely. By focusing on retention, they're showing a real commitment to their clients, building loyalty, and ultimately creating a more sustainable business.
Okay, so we've got the Benson brothers, their vision, their emphasis on personalized service, and these core values driving everything they do. But what about the actual insurance products? How do they stand out in a market that's totally saturated?
Well, one area they seem to specialize in is flood insurance. Now, this might surprise you, but standard homeowners insurance often excludes flood damage.
Wait, seriously, so if my basement floods after a heavy rainstorm, I might be out of luck if I only have, like, a basic policy.
That's a very real possibility, and it's a risk that many homeowners don't fully appreciate. That's why Home Insurance Agency really positions itself as a leading provider of flood insurance, offering that comprehensive coverage that goes beyond the basics.
So they're not just offering the bare minimum, they're anticipating needs and providing solutions that a homeowner might not even know they need.
Exactly. It's a proactive approach to risk management, educating clients about potential vulnerabilities and offering solutions that provide that real peace of mind.
This is making me think about my own insurance coverage. I'm suddenly very aware of my basement. Have you ever considered your flood risk?
It's definitely worth thinking about.
Especially with how unpredictable the weather has become these days.
Even if you don't live in a designated flood zone, you could still be at risk. Heavy rains, burst pipes, who knows?
Okay, that's a good reminder for all of us. Let's get back to Home Insurance Agency, though. We've talked about their vision, their values, their focus on personalized service. What else sets them apart?
One thing that really stood out to me is their simplified claims process. They've streamlined it down to these 3 clear steps, really minimizing stress and maximizing efficiency for their clients.
Oh, that's interesting because, let's be honest, dealing with insurance claims can be a nightmare. You're already stressed because something bad has happened. Then you have to deal with all this paperwork and endless phone calls. It's a lot. So how does Home Insurance Agency make it easier?
Well, the first step, you contact the carrier directly to report your claim. This cuts out the middleman and makes sure your claim is logged and processed quickly.
So you go straight to the source. Already sounds less daunting. What happens next?
Okay, so once the claim is reported, a claims adjuster will come out to assess the damage. Now, a claims adjuster is an independent professional who specializes in evaluating the damage and figuring out the appropriate compensation for your losses.
So they're the experts, right? They come in, take a look at everything, and figure out how much it's going to cost to fix.
Exactly. And here's where Home Insurance Agency's commitment to personalized service really kicks in. Their agents don't just leave you hanging. They provide guidance throughout the whole process, answering your questions, advocating for you, just making sure you get the support you need.
That's got to be incredibly reassuring, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed and vulnerable after a loss. It's that human touch again, that sense of partnership that really makes a difference.
Right. They're not just processing paperwork, they're walking alongside their clients, providing that expertise and support every step of the way. And that's where we start to see the real Benson difference emerge.
All right, I am officially intrigued. Tell me more about this Benson difference. What makes their approach so unique?
It boils down to this unwavering commitment to honesty, transparency, and putting the client first. They're not about pushing policies for profit. They're about finding the right coverage for each individual client.
So it's not about selling insurance, it's about building trust and building relationships.
Exactly. And to solidify that, they have these 3 key differentiators that really set them apart. First, they offer honest estimates. No hidden fees, no surprise charges, no fine print. What you see is what you get.
That's a breath of fresh air in an industry that can often feel, well, a little shady, you know?
Right. And second, they're fully licensed and insured, meaning they're operating legitimately, ethically, and they're held to high standards.
Okay, so you can rest assured they're not going to just disappear with your money.
They're the real deal. And finally, and maybe most importantly, they offer truly customized coverage. They take the time to understand your needs, your circumstances, and find the policies that fit your situation best, not just the most expensive ones.
That's powerful. It's about finding the right fit, not just the biggest sale.
Absolutely. And all of this ties back to their core values: respect, response, and retention. They respect their clients by being honest and transparent. They respond to their needs by providing that personalized service and guidance, and they retain clients by delivering on their promises and exceeding expectations.
Wow. Okay, I see how it all connects. It's not just about the insurance policies themselves, it's about the people behind them, the values, the relationships.
Exactly. And it seems to be working. Clients love them, and they've racked up some pretty impressive accolades over the years.
Oh, yeah. A 5-star Google rating, excellence in customer service awards, even industry leadership awards. That's some serious external validation right there.
It really is. And that speaks volumes about their commitment to quality and customer satisfaction.
It's not just talk, they walk the walk. So we've established that home insurance agency is doing things differently. But what about the future? What are their plans for growth and innovation?
They've got some ambitious plans to expand their reach, develop new products, and enhance their digital tools. But we'll dive deeper into that after a quick break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We just scratched the surface of what makes home insurance agency unique. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty, their homeowners insurance. What exactly does it cover?
Well, remember how we talked about their personalized approach? That extends to their coverage options. There's no one-size-fits-all policy here, but there are 4 key areas they often tailor to individual needs. Think of these as the building blocks of a solid homeowner's insurance plan.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are these key areas?
First off, dwelling coverage. This protects the actual structure of your home, the bricks and mortar, so to speak. Things like fire, wind damage, hail, vandalism. Those are all covered under dwelling coverage.
So if a storm rolls through and a tree crashes onto my roof, dwelling coverage is what helps me pay for the repairs.
You got it. It's about protecting your most significant investment, the physical structure of your home.
That makes sense. What's the next piece of the puzzle?
Next up is personal property coverage. This one's all about the stuff inside your home. Furniture, electronics, clothes, appliances, pretty much everything you own.
So imagine a scenario where there is a kitchen fire and your brand new refrigerator gets damaged. Personal property coverage is what would help you replace it.
Exactly. Think of it as protecting the things that make your house a home, all those belongings that add up in value over time.
All right, that covers the house itself and the things inside. What else is there?
Liability protection is another crucial area. It protects you financially if someone gets injured on your property and decides to sue. It can help cover legal fees and any settlements you might have to pay.
So let's say a delivery person slips on my icy steps and breaks their arm. Liability protection could be a lifesaver in that situation, helping me avoid a potentially devastating financial hit.
You nailed it. It's about having a safety net for those unforeseen accidents that can happen, even when you're being careful.
Okay, that's 3 areas covered. What's the 4th?
This last one often gets overlooked, but it can be incredibly valuable, especially if you ever have to deal with a major home disaster. Loss of use coverage. This kicks in if your home becomes uninhabitable due to a covered event like a fire or a severe storm that causes major damage.
So let's say a pipe bursts and floods my house, making it unlivable for a few weeks while repairs are being done. Loss of use coverage would help cover those extra costs I incur, like staying in a hotel or renting a temporary apartment.
That's precisely it. It helps with those additional living expenses that could really pile up when you're forced out of your home due to unexpected circumstances.
This is making me realize there's a lot more to home insurance than I initially thought. It's not just about protecting your home, it's about protecting your life and your finances from the unexpected.
That's a great insight. It's about having peace of mind knowing you're covered in a wide range of scenarios, even those that might seem unlikely at first.
Speaking of unlikely scenarios, let's circle back to flood insurance. We touched on this earlier, but I think it deserves more attention, especially given how many people are unaware that their standard homeowners insurance doesn't cover flood damage.
You're absolutely right. Flood insurance is crucial, and it's an area where Home Insurance Agency truly excels. They go beyond the basics, offering comprehensive coverage that addresses various flood-related risks.
Okay, I'm ready to dive deeper. Break it down for me. What exactly does their flood insurance cover?
They've got you covered on several fronts. First, they offer protection for structural damage. This includes the building itself, the walls, floors, foundation, and any attached structures.
So, if a flood causes cracks in my foundation or warps the floorboards in my basement, I wouldn't be stuck footing the bill for those repairs myself.
You've got it. Flood insurance steps in to cover those major structural repairs that can be incredibly expensive.
That's reassuring. What else is included?
They also cover damage to electrical and plumbing systems, which is a huge consideration when dealing with floodwater. Water and electricity don't mix well, And floodwater can corrode pipes and damage wiring, leading to hazardous situations and expensive repairs.
That makes perfect sense. So if my electrical panel gets fried or my pipes need to be replaced due to flood damage, I wouldn't be on the hook for the entire cost.
Exactly. Flood insurance takes care of those big-ticket items that can really put a strain on your finances. And it doesn't stop there. They also cover major appliances, cabinets, and even personal belongings damaged by floodwater.
Okay, wow. This is really comprehensive. So if my washing machine gets ruined or my furniture in the basement gets waterlogged, flood insurance can potentially help me replace those items.
That's the idea. It's about providing a safety net that covers a wide range of potential losses, helping you get back on your feet after a devastating flood.
This is making me seriously rethink my insurance strategy. I live in an area that's prone to heavy rainfall, and I never really considered the possibility of flood damage.
It's a common misconception that you only need flood insurance if you live in a designated flood zone. But the reality is, flooding can happen anywhere, even in areas that are considered low risk. A burst pipe, a backed up sewer line, or even heavy rainfall that overwhelms local drainage systems can all lead to significant flood damage.
You've given me a lot to think about. But let's say the unthinkable happens, and I do experience a flood. What's the claims process like with home insurance agency? We've talked about how they simplify things, but I'd love to get a better understanding of what that actually looks like in practice.
Sure. Remember those three core values we discussed: respect, response, and retention. Those principles guide their approach to claims processing as well. They've designed a three-step process that's efficient, transparent, and focused on minimizing stress for the client.
Okay, break it down for me. What are the steps?
The first step is simple. You contact the insurance carrier directly to report the claim. This ensures your claim is logged and processed quickly, without any unnecessary delays.
So no waiting on hold for hours, getting transferred from department to department, or dealing with a bunch of automated systems. I like the sound of that already.
Exactly. It's a straightforward, streamlined process designed to get the ball rolling as quickly as possible.
What happens after the claim is reported?
Once your claim is logged, a claims adjuster is assigned to your case. Now, this is where things get interesting. A claims adjuster is an independent professional who specializes in evaluating damage and determining the appropriate compensation for your losses. They're essentially the experts who come in, assess the situation, and figure out how much it's all going to cost to make things right.
So they're like the detectives of the insurance world, carefully examining the damage and determining what needs to be done.
That's a great way to put it. They're trained to spot details, evaluate the extent of the damage, and ensure you receive a fair and accurate assessment of your losses. And here's the best part. Home Insurance Agency doesn't just leave you to navigate this process alone. Their agents provide guidance and support throughout the entire claims process, ensuring you understand what's happening and advocating for your best interests.
Wow, that's a level of personalized service you don't often find in the insurance world. It really takes a lot of stress out of the equation, knowing you have someone on your side guiding you through each step of the process.
Precisely. They're not just processing paperwork, they're partnering with their clients, providing expertise, answering questions, and ensuring their needs are met throughout the entire journey. It's this commitment to personalized service that truly sets them apart.
Okay, we've covered their comprehensive coverage options, their simplified claims process, and their focus on personalized service. But what really makes Home Insurance Agency stand out, the Bentson difference, as we've called it?
Their commitment to honesty and transparency is what really differentiates them. They genuinely prioritize client needs over profits, and that shows in every aspect of their business.
It sounds like they're challenging the stereotype of the pushy insurance agent who's just trying to sell you the most expensive policy, regardless of your needs.
You hit the nail on the head. They've built their entire business on a foundation of trust, and they back that up with three key differentiators that set them apart from the competition.
I'm all ears. Tell me more about these differentiators.
First and foremost, they offer honest estimates. This means no hidden fees, no surprise charges, and no sneaky fine print buried in the policy documents. What you see is what you get.
That's refreshing to hear, especially in an industry that's often criticized for its lack of transparency.
Right. They believe in clear, upfront communication, ensuring their clients understand exactly what they're getting and what they're paying for. No surprises down the line.
That's reassuring. What's the second differentiator?
They're fully licensed and insured. This might seem obvious, but it's an important consideration. It means they're operating legitimately and ethically, and they're held to high standards of conduct.
So I can be confident they're not some fly-by-night operation that's going to disappear overnight, leaving me high and dry.
Exactly. They're a reputable, established agency with a proven track record. And finally, the third differentiator, and perhaps the most important one, they offer truly customized coverage. This means they don't just push a standard policy on everyone. They take the time to understand your unique needs and circumstances, helping you find the coverage that best fits your specific situation.
That's a game changer. It shifts the focus from selling a product to finding a solution.
You said it. It's all about those core values: respect, response, and retention. They respect their clients by being honest and transparent. They respond to their needs by providing personalized service, and they retain their clients by consistently exceeding expectations.
Wow, it's impressive how they've managed to weave those values into every aspect of their business. It's not just lip service, it's the foundation of their entire approach. And it seems like it's paying off. They've earned a stellar reputation in the industry and received numerous awards recognizing their commitment to customer service and industry leadership.
They have. And those accolades aren't just for show. They represent a tangible validation of their approach, demonstrating their dedication to excellence. It's not just about talking the talk. It's about walking the walk, proving their commitment through consistent actions and results.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here, exploring everything from their unique coverage options and simplified claims process to their core values and commitment to customer satisfaction. But there's still one more piece of the puzzle to explore: their vision for the future.
Right. We've seen how they're changing the game in the present, but what does the future hold for Home Insurance Agency? They've got ambitious plans for growth and innovation, and that's what we'll delve into after a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
All right, welcome back to the show. We've been deep diving into Home Insurance Agency, and it's clear they're shaking things up in the insurance world, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty eye-opening to see how they operate, but what's got me curious is, where do they go from here?
Exactly. What does the future hold for Home Insurance Agency?
Well, the Bentson brothers, they're not the type to just sit back and relax. They've got some big plans, and what's interesting is those plans really line up with everything we've talked about so far.
Okay, I'm hooked. What are these big plans?
Well, they're looking to expand their reach, bringing their unique approach to, more homeowners across the country.
That makes sense. But their whole thing is that personalized local touch. How do they do that on a larger scale without losing that?
That's the million-dollar question,
Yeah.
right? And from what I've gathered, it seems like they're going about it very strategically. They're really focused on building partnerships with local agents who share their values, who are committed to that same level of customer service.
So it's not just about opening offices in new states. It's about finding the right people to represent them?
Exactly. People who embody that Benson difference.
Totally. Okay, so expansion is one thing, but what about the actual, insurance products themselves?
Well, they're not content with just offering the same old.
Yeah.
They're constantly looking for new ways to meet the needs of homeowners,
Yeah.
especially as those needs evolve.
With all the changes happening these days, that makes sense.
Exactly. You've got smart home technology, the rise of remote work,
Yeah.
not to mention extreme weather events happening more frequently.
Yeah, it seems like there's always something new to worry about as a homeowner.
And that's where Home Insurance Agency steps in. They're not just reacting to these changes, they're trying to anticipate them, coming up with solutions before most homeowners even realize they need them.
So they're staying ahead of the game, basically.
Absolutely. They're constantly innovating, but always with those core values at the heart of everything they do.
That's pretty impressive. Now, I know we can't talk about the future without talking about technology. Everything's going digital these days. How is Home Insurance Agency adapting to that?
Well, they're investing a lot in their digital infrastructure, developing user-friendly platforms and tools, making it easier for clients to manage their policies online, get quotes, file claims, all that.
I gotta say, as someone who's not exactly a tech whiz, I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of people do. It's about making things convenient, accessible, meeting clients where they are.
It's like they're striking that perfect balance between the personal touch and the convenience of technology.
Exactly. It's a win-win. And, it all comes back to those core values again: respect, response, and retention.
It always does, doesn't it?
It's like their guiding light.
Well, I think we've done a pretty thorough deep dive here, exploring all the different facets of Home Insurance Agency, their values, their services, their plans for the future. What are your final thoughts?
What strikes me most about Home Insurance Agency is that they're proof that a business can be successful while staying true to its values, putting people first. you know?
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we all have a choice in how we do business. We can focus on the short-term gains, or we can build something that's sustainable, something ethical, something that actually benefits everyone involved.
Well said.
And that's what the Benson brothers have done with Home Insurance Agency. They've created a company that's not just about selling policies, but about building relationships, fostering trust, and making a real difference in people's lives.
And that's something we can all learn from, no matter what industry we're in.
You're right. Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today. But before we sign off, I want to leave you with that question we asked earlier. How do you define peace of mind when it comes to protecting your home? Take what you've learned today, do your research, explore your options, and choose the path that gives you the most confidence and security. And hey, if you're curious to learn more about Home Insurance Agency, their website is a great place to start. You might just find that they're the perfect fit for you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.